Oh, hey buddy, it's your old pal Scott, and this is Let's Talk Tabletop. You know, there's a great divide in the community of wargamers between the win at all cost players or the power gamers and the casual or fluff players. And many of us in the casual side of things would prefer that there were no competitive players, no win at all cost players with their cutthroat net lists, etc. Abusing rules left and right. We kind of wish they didn't exist. We wish they would tone it down and maybe be more of like an average John somewhere in the middle instead of so hardcore. Well, unfortunately, companies like Games Workshop and game design in general absolutely needs win at all cost players. They need power gamers, and here's why. As you guys probably know, I'm the creator of Brutality Skirmish Wargame and Brutal Space and the upcoming Brutal Epic that'll be out in a couple weeks, and many more games in the future in the Brutality family of games. And I'm a casual gamer, so even though game design is very important to me and it's a passion of mine, I don't think like the win at all cost players do. So first off, it's most important for game designers to have friends that are power gamers or win at all cost players because they're the ones that will really root out the bugs in your list building. You know, should a unit with fly that charges, should it still have fly when it charges? Or how many should be the limit to a certain unit that you have? Like some games will have the rule of 3, where there's only 3 of the same unit that you can take. My tournaments at Shorehammer often have a limit of 1 per unit. That's called a Highlander format. And there's many, many, many things that a casual gamer would just never think about, because I'm not going to spam 10 of the most powerful unit. That's just not in me. It's not fun. Why would I do that, right? And if you listen to interviews like with the design team at Games Workshop, they very much are casual, fluffy players. And I've read interviews before in the past where they say, well, sure, I mean, I guess you could exploit the rules in that way, whatever the rule is they were talking about. And they're like, but why would you? And that's exactly my opinion on that. Unfortunately, there will always be people to varying different levels of people that will exploit the rules and min-max and things like that. So when you're designing a game, it's extremely helpful for you to have some win-at-all-cost players in your pocket. Because, not that they're bad people, by the way, win-at-all-cost players are not bad individuals. It's just a different game style that really is not compatible with fluff players. Now, if you do hear rain, unfortunately, I have a metal roof, so it is lately raining out there, and you may occasionally hear rain. I apologize for that. I've been holding off during all of the other rain, and now it's just barely raining. Anyway, so they will help you root out bugs in your game design, and it's extremely important. So once you do that, you will realize that win-at-all-cost players are extremely valuable. You could give your rule set to 1 million fluff players, and they're never going to min-max the crap out of stuff. They're never going to abuse the system, as it were. Now, for companies like Games Workshop, the power gamers drive their competitive scene. The competitive players drive their sales, because they have to buy all the new books, they have to buy all the supplements, they have to stay up with the FAQs, they have to buy all the new hotness models, right, for the exorbitant new prices. Whereas a casual fan doesn't have the urgency to do that. If I play with a few of my friends and we're all casual, we just buy the models that we like. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be the new meta, it doesn't have to be any of those things. They're just the models that we enjoy, and we could play whatever we want because the level of competitiveness in our games is not a big deal. So if you are trying to base your game around just casual players and you're a big corporation, you're going to have a tough time because you're not going to get those spikes in sales. Games Workshop happens to have like a feeding frenzy with its customers, its competitive customers at least. And the reason why is, new book coming out. Oh, new supplement coming out. Oh, look at that new unit. Oh, that unit got a rules update. Blah, blah, blah. They're all excited about it because they always want that competitive edge. So from a game design standpoint, you definitely need competitive players because they help root out bugs and they help debug your game. From a corporate standpoint, you absolutely want competitive players because they drive your sales. There's no urgency in a casual player's purchasing. They're like, hey, that Great Unclean one's pretty cool, and then they just go buy it because they like it. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be the new hotness or the thing everyone's taking. If you play Nurgle, you got to take a Great Unclean one, man. All the other units are garbage. Oh, I hate that nomenclature. Like, they're just... Competitive people are always like, everything is good or trash. There's, like, no in between, which is strange to me. But anyway. So, even though I am not an advocate for win-at-all-cost players and competitives, I am it's antithetical to everything I am as a gamer, but they definitely have their place. So, next time you or me or anybody else is hating on a competitive player for being competitive, just know that they help keep the lights on at your favorite corporation, and they drive new progress for your game, and they debug your game systems. So really, are they that bad? Yeah, they're still that bad. Anyway, thank you to all my Patreon patrons. I will see you next week, and I would like to thank Grendel for being such a lifelong Patreon patron. I greatly appreciate it. And he is the sponsor of this week's episode. So, Grendel, thank you so much. On a private note, I get some emails from my old podcast asking, what are you up to, Scott? We'd like to hear an update. Well, I will show you a snippet of what I've been up to. And it's just been a bunch of hobby stuff, but I'll show you right now. So some of you may wonder what all the garbage in the background is in my videos. And what I can tell you is, it's a nearly 4-foot by 6-foot layout of a starship. I've been printing it. I've had my friend TJ print it. And now that I have a 3D printer, I've been printing expansions for it. It is a full layout of a starship. And I'm very excited about it. I'll be able to use it at Shorehammer, my convention for narrative games. I'll also be able to use it for battle reports. And currently, we are playing a Star Trek RPG, a Brutality RPG, which is in the works, and it will be out in probably a year or two. But currently, we're playtesting it. And my 2 youngest daughters and I have started a campaign. We've been playing many, many RPGs in the past with our Star Trek miniatures. But this is the first time that we're actually using a module from a Star Trek RPG book from Modiphius. And it's quite fun. So, we have the bridge here. I'm not going to let you look too close, because one of these days when all of that is finished painting and assembled and all that, I'm going to do a whole tour of my starship. But you see all the little miniatures here. They all have their different stations. We have them named. We have them statted out for the RPG. It is quite fun. And currently, we've got our star map here with our ship, and there's a wormhole and another ship and a planet. That is the space map right there. Then we have our interior, which is the bridge. I've got a couple of the rooms finished, some of the barracks and the sick bay and things like that, but it's not completely finished. And then we had an away team. We had to land our shuttle to find a crash site in this foliage, and we had to find a crazed dude who'd been marooned on this planet for 30 years. So currently, that's what we're doing. The mission is a 3-act mission, and we finished Act 1 last night, where we realized that the wormhole is pulling on that planet, and there's some sort of time distortion. That ship right there popped out of the wormhole. It's been great fun. And currently, if you know anything about Star Trek, there's like the security division, engineering, science, etc. My daughters have been picking entire departments. Instead of, normally when we do RPGs, we will play a single character. We're like, okay, this is my character, etc. Well, because we have the entire crew statted out, I have like around 30 characters for my crew. Everyone down from the maintenance people all the way up to the captain. They are picking a department to run. So my youngest daughter wanted to be in command. So she played the captain, the commander, and the bridge crew that are the red shirts, the command. And my other daughter wanted to be security and engineering. So she did that. And then I am science. I'm the leftover. So I'm doing science. So that is what I've been up to lately. And just off camera there, I'm not going to show it to you yet, but another big project I've been working on lately. You know what? Hold on. This is all I'm going to say for now. Okay, the big project I've been working on. If you know what this is, then you might be excited. If you don't know what this is, well, then you think it's some weird looking tank. But this is what I've been working on mostly. I've paused slightly on the Starship stuff to start working on an entire Warhammer-sized army of Thundercats. And I gotta tell you, it's been a blast kit bashing and things like that. I'm gonna have a whole video on that when it's all finished. So, thank you to all my Patreon patrons so much for supporting the show. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to Grendel, who's the sponsor of this show. I'll see you next week.